Hey everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel God Would Do It For You. My name is Steven. I hope everyone's having a great day so far. And what we're going to be talking about today is when God pushes you into transition. One thing that I've realized with this whole experience, and if you look back at the videos that I have, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, just as far as how God basically took everything out of my life except my son and my food business. And that's all he left me with. And at this point, the good thing is we got the main bill that we needed paid, taken care of. So that alleviated a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress. And it's like, all right, I can make everything else work. I know what I'm capable of doing. I know how to make money. I just need to figure out how to get this food business moving. And that's where the clarity that God started giving me. It's like he started downloading it into my spirit. He's like, hey, this is why I took those things away, because you're ready to move into your next phase in life. And so what he did was he says, all right, you've been working on this food business now for a couple of years. You've been cooking now 5-6 years. I don't know, it's been a minute now. Maybe, I think 6 years. You've done it enough. You showed that you're responsible because you can be financially independent. I gave you what I gave you. You didn't squander it. Great. So now he takes those things away and says, make it work. You can make it work. You can figure it out. You have all the necessary tools, the wisdom, the knowledge, and the resources, meaning like you can look online at people that are doing it successfully. You could do it. Now I'm going to give you an example of exactly what I'm talking about. I saw this video on, I don't know, it was one of the social media platforms, and the father was trying to teach his kid how to problem solve. And so there was this triple lined rope. It was like one at the top, middle, at the bottom. The father walked past. He was tall enough that he could walk over it, and he walked further ahead. He left the kid behind, and the kid was like, well, wait a minute, started crying and running after him. Then the kid realized that he couldn't just go through the rope. So he stuck one head through and got tangled up, then tried to stick one other leg the other way, but his arm got tangled up. So then he started crying and pouting and was like, help me. And the dad was like, you could do it. Come on, hurry up. And so eventually, after a few minutes of the kid, like, okay, let me try again, the kid figured it out, and he got through, and he caught up with his dad, and he walked past. The dad was trying to teach the kid that now you have the intellect to problem solve and figure this out. You can get to where you're trying to go. You have to figure it out now. You could do it. And so when that perspective came into me, I was like, God is trying to help me. He's helping me. It's like he took everything away because he's like, you could do it now. You can make success. I gave you only what you need right now. You got a wall of note cards on what you want and desire from me. I didn't take away music because you still got all the music equipment, programs, everything, but I took away your old files because your new self and the time that you're going to have in the future, you'll be able to do things differently. Right now is not the time to have it, so that's why he took it away. It's almost like a kid making bad grades in school. They were a first A, B student, and then they got the video game or whatever, and now all of a sudden the grades are slipping, so you have to take the game away until the grades progress forward, and also just to make sure that they're on the right path. You gotta, there's that FedEx truck, there's nothing I can do about that. But the one thing I've realized is that, no, God is trying to help me. God is pushing me to think outside of the box, pushing me to be like, okay, I've given you a resource, I've given you provision, but it's very limited. So that way you can't get comfortable again. It forces me to say, I can't live like this. But it also puts that fire up under you like, hey, so what can we do to get this money coming in? And now the ideas are starting to come in. Now I'm like, okay, I think I got it. And I'm like, you know what? I would have never gotten to this point where I'm really thinking intensely and deeply about how to get this to gain some traction the way I really want it to, if it wasn't for me being in a situation where the pressure is high. Think, if somebody wants to do something bad enough, they'll figure out a way. Another example is I hate to say this, but the old torture technique where they put a bucket on top of a rat, on top of a surface. And if you heat the bucket up enough, the rat will get desperate enough and he'll just try to dig down, because it's like, I don't know what else to do. I don't want to just sit here and not try to do anything. I'm going to claw my way out. And so sometimes when God puts us in that place of desperation where we're like, we got to make this work. Guys, there is no plan B. So it's either you make it work, you figure it out, you think, you pray, you seek God for the wisdom and guidance so that way he can do what he does in the background, and also you make sure that you're in position. That's when the next phase in life comes. All God wants me to do is not get comfortable with my former. I ain't gonna lie, I was making good money, doing what I was doing. We were living fine. And I was like, this is taking precedence over the food business though. See, the more I realize it and I look back, I'm like, this is taking precedence. With AI and everything getting ready to move forward in full swing within the next 5 years, trust me, you need a business that, one, has human interaction, and two, you need a business that a robot can't do. A robot cannot taste food. Anything computer related, especially work at home jobs, things like that, you might want to just make sure that you are a master of your trade, so that way a business will say, we got to have a really good reason to get rid of this person. I'm being serious. And that's why I'm realizing that God is like, hey, this music stuff, you don't know what's coming with AI and how they can eliminate a lot of the competition with that. But this food, if you do it now, especially while everything's getting ready, even the economy's in transition, if you do it now, by the time everything starts to do whatever it's going to do, hey, we on the up and coming of it. And so what I'm urging anyone, if you are in a predicament or you're in a season of transition where you're like, hey, things are getting ready to change, I don't know why life is doing funny things, this and that, hey, that's because God is pushing you to your breakthrough, especially in your thinking. Your energy's changing. I'm getting it. I'm like, all he's trying to do is he's pushing me. He's like, no, Stephen, you could do it. Just like a father would with their son, like the father did in that video. The father did not go back and just pull him through like, and say, well, we'll try again later. He stood there and waited until he figured it out. But it wasn't like he just abandoned the kid. He stood there. So it's like Jesus in our life. Jesus is with us. But he's not going to just do stuff just because sometimes. Sometimes he wants you to figure it out, because that's what it's going to take for you to be able to keep your business up. That's what it's going to take for you to figure out a way to scale, or whatever the case may be when problems arise in the future, because you'll be able to look back at times like now and say, I figured that out. I had God with me. I figured out these other times. I wait for the squeaking to stop. They need to change those brakes. I mean, it's crazy. But it's like, hey, I figured these things out. So I know that when problems arise in the future, I'll have the same tenacity, the drive, the faith in order to persevere and keep moving forward then. And so God is laying down the foundation of what's to come. And I get it now. We got to get moving. No time to waste. That's what's on my end. Hey, now that you have the ideas, act on it immediately. Immediately. Hey, you got a little cushion room? Just a little. It's time to move. No time to procrastinate. Now is the time to really dig deep in your faith and say, all right, God, I'm free falling. Let's see what's going to come of this. And this is where the unknown is, and this is where I'm going to love to keep you guys in tune and exactly how all this shapes out. Because again, the reason I'm doing this because I wish that someone would at least be transparent and have the details of their own Christian walk. Because again, we love seeing the YouTube videos of the channels that are blown up and they're like, hey, we made it through, it was hard and this and that. That's great. That's great. But sometimes, and even for me, I'll just say this from my perspective, it's easy to say that when you're on top now. And it's harder for someone that's going through it to look at that as the light at the end of the tunnel. For me, it's better when I can see someone going through it, or they went through it, and actually see how they did it. And not for me to mimic it, but for me to be encouraged that this is a process. It's not just, maybe it was a lot harder than people explain in their videos, but they keep the bad out because they want to encourage people. And it's okay to encourage people, but I feel like being real with people will let them know that, hey, this is genuine. This is authentic. They're not just saying something. I can see it. It ain't perfect over there, but I can still see that they're making it day by day. They're still able to post. They're still in the right frame of mind. They don't look stressed. They don't look like, this and that. And that's what people need to see, because people are out here stressing. People are out here, they're suffering, and they don't have to suffer, because if you put your trust in God, trust me, you're going to be all right. But sometimes people don't know that, because they're afraid of where they're seeking things from, which I understand. Or they feel like they're getting another positive message. That person's got a viral video or whatever. But no, I'm giving y'all access to my personal life, so that way it could hopefully help people in the future when YouTube figures out how they want to get these videos out to people. But until then, keep the faith, keep your head up. I would love for you to like, share, subscribe, and just stay tuned, so that way you can see how all this rolls out and see what God is going to do. Because now I'm understanding that this is my third time being in a situation like this. The first time was when I got custody of my son. I had to God said, get rid of everything. I had to leave my job, got rid of the 401k, moved out of my mom's house into the family house. I used all my money. I did all that, and that whole summer was tough. But come that August, life was good. And it's the same thing 2 years ago. All right? What was meant for bad turned out to be good. I had to go through, in my opinion, it felt like hell. It felt like hell. But when I made it through, God restored the health insurance license, gave me 3 of them. I had a job that was perfect schedule for my son. We were all right. But then that's when I made the leap of faith, because the Holy Spirit was like, hey, you want to jump now. Now's the time to do it. And that's when I learned to be financially independent. So now, here we are again in another situation where it feels like you're starting over, but really you're starting over in a new level. So it's like, okay, this is the level. This is the plateau. This is where you're going to have to start in order to get to where you're trying to go. And now you're ready to do it. And that's the difference. Before, you weren't ready. Because otherwise, God would have gotten rid of other things and things of that nature, not let certain things happen, so that way His will for your life can have some forward movement. Now's the time. He's like, you could do it now. So that's why He took everything out the way. And it's like, what you gonna do with it? And that's it. So I hope this video's been a blessing. Again, like, share, subscribe if you choose to do so. Otherwise, have a great weekend. Stay safe. And until next time.